89.3 FM Toledo and Lima, 88.5 FM Wasia, on the web at yeshome.com, on the SFM Android and iTunes app, and the TuneIn Radio app, and now at 89.1 FM Fremont.
On the phone line, we have Joel Smallbone of For King and Country. Hello.
Hello, it's actually Luke, but here's the deal. With For King and Country, you got a 50-50 shot of getting the name right, and, it's... You guessed wrong today, April, and I'm not offended at all.
I'm glad you're not offended, but I do apologize. So, because it's like, even though the 50-50 chance, and it's like For King and Country is like the entity of the Smallbone brothers. Luke, You have your own identity, and hopefully you know who you are in Christ, brother.
Here's the thing. I was raised with 7 kids in my family, and I didn't have my own identity when I was growing up, so I'm just reverting back to my childlike state.
Were your parents like Luke, Joel, Rebecca? They start naming off all the kids when they're yelling.
Oh, of course. I have my wife and I, Courtney, have 2 little boys, and I just with 2 of them. Once again, 50-50 shot. I'm like, Phoenix, Jude, yes, you. Go feed the bunny. You know what I mean?
And then you start naming out the bunnies, too,
Oh, I know. It is what it is. It's all good.
Well, once again, we are talking to Luke Smallbone, one half of the group of For King and Country, going to be at Point Fest. And this is not your first Point Fest. You guys are becoming quite the regulars around the area.
Man, I think that this might be our 3rd. You correct me if I'm wrong. I think this might be our 3rd Point Fest that we've been to. So to be able to come back that many times in a row, people are beggars for punishment. But we're excited to be coming back and hanging out with you guys.
Now, speaking of punishment, are you one of those guys that likes the coasters, or is it something like you kind of just watch and laugh at everybody else?
Yeah, I think everybody's crazy, and obviously I'm crazy for thinking that because the roller coaster industry isn't exactly small. But I'm not a roller coaster guy. My dad always says, because I teach him about not liking roller coasters as well, and he says, Luke, my life is exciting enough. So I've kind of taken that mantra. I've got enough adventure in my life. Do I really need to go ride on a roller coaster to provide some more excitement? I think I'm good.
Well, given your guys' stage show, that's like a roller coaster enough with as much jumping around as you guys do. So, I think you've got it covered with what you do on a daily basis or, on a consistent basis with your job.
Thank you, April. I appreciate that.
You're off the hook as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not just a scaredy cat anymore.
No. Well, what's interesting is I was one that liked coasters when I was a kid, could ride like anything. And then as I've gotten to be an adult and progressed, and I can't handle them anymore. I don't know if it's the G-forces or what's going on, but yeah, my body's like, no.
Well, I always say to the guys, because I get given such a hard time about it, they don't even ask me to go anymore, really, because they just know. But I've been on some of those crazy roller coasters, and I'm like, guys, what's the deal? I've done them. I just don't enjoy them. It's just the way it is. I'm just like, I don't enjoy it. And so now they leave me alone now, which is gracious of them.
Once again, talking to Luke Smallbone of For King and Country, going to be at Point Fest this year. And Toby Mack, Chris Tomlin, as well as Holland there. I think you might have played with Toby before. I'm not sure about Chris or Holland, so catch me up and correct me if I'm wrong. Any of these new people that you're going to be out with, or is it family reunion, or a little bit of both?
You know what? I've done the least with Chris. We've done some shows together, but not a ton. We were just in Europe, and Toby was at probably 3 out of the 5 or 6 shows that we did over there, and he had Colin with him. So we know them pretty well. That camp is always just so good to see. Those guys are they're just filled with great dudes over there. So we'll be excited to see him. And when it comes to Tomlin, some of the guys that play with him I've known for years through other different musical ventures or whatever. So even though we don't do a ton of shows together, I know those guys decently well, and it'll be good to see them all again.
Fantastic. Now, here's a question for you. Out of anybody that you could go on tour with, anyone, who would you love to go on tour with that maybe you haven't done so, or who would you like to go back out with again?
Yeah, well, one of the bands growing up that kind of changed the way that I looked at music and really kind of inspired me to do music was Switchfoot. They had an album come out called The Beautiful Letdown, and I had just torn my ACL playing basketball, and I was rehabbing, and that album was the big album of the moment. And I just think they would be cool guys to get to know a little bit more. I know them, but not super well, and just really find out who they are in a deeper way, because obviously they inspired me, and I've learned enough about music to know that songs come from a place. And so when those songs were songs that connected with me so much, it always makes you want to go, well, what was the heartbeat behind that, or what was the season of life that you were going through when you wrote that song? I think that would be a fun tour.
It sounds like a fun tour. You know what? They're coming to Toledo in October, so, bro, if you don't have anything going on, come on back, hang out.
Man, I need to go out and just do like an acoustic show outside the building, just so I can say I've done a show with them, you know?
There you go. That would be amazing. Yeah, we just had an interesting discussion, because Where the Light Shines Through just came out, and, we were talking about the music from that, but a lot of us were saying, we love that album, but a lot of us were saying, if we had to go back, Beautiful Letdown is like on top. So right there with you.
To me, it's one of the greatest albums, in music that was created during that time. It was just such a good album.
Absolutely. Once again, talking to Luke Smallbone, and going to be at Point Fest this year. And we know that you guys are always doing something, got something going on. Obviously, Priceless, the movie coming out in October. Super excited about that. Do you guys have anything else going on as far as maybe working on a new album, tours this fall, the rest of the summer? What's going on with you guys?
We are touring this fall, and we are going to be touring at Christmas time as well, which is going to be a lot of fun. But here's the thing: this year with the film, we've just put everything that we have into that film, and so we're tired a little bit in the sense of looking forward to doing a tour like a fall tour and a Christmas tour, which are just things that we do a lot of because. It's been the film has been one of the hardest things we've ever worked on in our career. We're starting to work on slowly some new music, which will be kind of refreshing as well. So there's a lot of irons in the fire, if you will.
Sounds like it. So here's a question for you then. How do you find balance with that? Because, obviously you said you're married, you're a dad, but then you guys are out on the road, you're doing Priceless. What keeps you centered and grounded?
Well, my family are the things that keep me centered and grounded. My wife is, you guys, I talk to people like yourselves, and yeah, I'm on stage, and we do radio interviews a lot and all that sort of stuff. But my wife is the hero. My wife, she just knows me inside and out, and she knows when I'm off and when I need to recalibrate for multiple reasons. And she's God's greatest gift to me here on this earth, in the sense of just, not only did she give me a great partner in life, but she gave me a friend and and an accountability partner, somebody to be able to speak truth into my life. And then the other thing is when you go home and you're changing diapers, it's amazing how that just kind of brings you right back to ground zero.
We've heard that a lot. It's funny that you mentioned that. I don't know if you're familiar with a Christian rapper by the name of George Moss, but George has been very transparent, with social media, as far as being a dad. He's got a new baby, and so talking about that, and then advocacy for breastfeeding with his wife, and just that whole situation. It's kind of interesting to see the flip side of it. It's like, hey, I'm a rapper, but I'm still a dad, and I'm still a husband.
Oh, of course, and that truly. When you read in the Bible and you talk about kids and you talk about being a husband or a wife, whatever it might be. In the Bible it talks about kids are a blessing from God, and so those are the types of things. Like if I'm just putting my common sense hat on, I'm going to do my best to chase those blessings, and those blessings come with a lot of work. Though children are they'll push you, but man, what an amazing thing to be able to have a child look up to you and call you dad. That never gets old to me.
I would highly agree. In my case, Mom, but yeah, absolutely. So once again, we're talking to Luke Smallbone, and part of the group of For King and Country, going to be at Point Fest once again September the 17th. It's a Saturday. More details about Point Fest can be found on our website at yeshome.com. Hey, Luke, before we let you go, we know that one of your singles right now is a song called It's Not Over Yet. Can you tell us the story behind that?
Yeah, well, It's Not Over Yet was a personal song for us to write. See, our sister struggles with Lyme's disease, and we asked ourselves when we were writing that album, we're like, well, what would it look like what would we tell her in a song? How could we just be very transparent and just say, Libby, this is what we wish for you, this is what we hope for you. And that statement was, Libby, though you're sick now, it's not over yet. And it was kind of cool to be able to just let her know as that wrote that song as we finished that and just said, hey, Libby, we love you. These are the things that we've seen in your life, and we just want to encourage you with this song. It's not over yet. This is not going to be the end of your story.
Yes, FM.